So let's carry on. Let's remind ourselves, where are we at? We've bridged our Ethereum from the BNB chain, haven't we? It's still in MetaMask, but it's now in the Ethereum chain. Now we can send our Ethereum from the Ethereum chain in MetaMask to, in my case, I'm going to send it to Coinbase, my online exchange. Now, you may also be using Coinbase, which is great. You may be using another online exchange. It really doesn't matter. The process, of course, is the same. That being that we need to grab the deposit address at our online exchange of, in this case, Ethereum, and then we will go to MetaMask and send our Ethereum to that deposit address. This is basically, as I've said before, exactly the reverse of what we did back in the pre-training when we set everything up. And isn't it now kind of almost, dare I say, more enjoyable? Although I'm hoping you were enjoying the pre-training back in the day. But now that we sort of understand what we're doing, it's a bit, we kind of have that slight kind of inner confidence, don't we? So let's not get carried away, of course, but let's go and do all that in this video. So let's jump back to the web. And here we are. And let me just quickly confirm what we have in Mr. MetaMask head. Let me click on Mr. MetaMask head. And here's our Ethereum that we bridged over in the last video. Here it is, 0.0635. Okay, great. So that's going to be sent to Coinbase. So let me go to my Coinbase account. I've already logged in. So here is my Coinbase account. And obviously, if you're not using Coinbase, clearly, obviously, it's going to look a little bit different. But the functionality, the process is exactly the same. We're looking for our deposit address for Ethereum, of course. So in Coinbase, this is how all this works. We click on the send and receive button at the top here. So let me click on that. A little dialog window will open. And one of the options is receive. So that's exactly what we want. Let's think about this logically. So I've clicked on receive. We then get asked to choose the asset that we want to receive into Coinbase. And of course, we are receiving Ethereum. So I want to make sure Ethereum is selected there, which it is. And here's our address. Perfect. So I'm going to copy this. I've created a handy-dandy document because I like to be nice and organized. Here we go, Ethereum address at Coinbase. Let me paste the address there. So there is the address that I'm going to send my Ethereum to. Okay, so far so good. So now let's go back to MetaMask here. And now let's send it. So here is my Ethereum. I'm just going to click on it. Okay, so it's selected. Here's the send button. Let me click on send. Now let me just, before I do that, let me just make a note. 0.0635. In fact, I'll tell you what also, let's go back to Coinbase very quickly. And let's just look at my Ethereum holdings so we can see the increase. So at the moment, I've got 20.907 Ethereum. Let me just make a note of that, 20.907. So I'm going to get my calculator out here. In fact, let me pull up a calculator here so we can all see it together. So at the moment in Coinbase, we've got 20.907 Ethereum. And let's add what we're about to send, which was, I've just written down here, 0.0635. So make a note of that number. I'm going to make a note of it as well. 20.9705. 20.9705. That's what this number here will increase to once we've sent the Ethereum from our MetaMask. I always like to do this just so we're 100% sure that it has been received. Obviously, we can see our transactions in MetaMask as well, but still, it's quite nice to do it this way. So back to MetaMask. Here we are. So let me click on Ethereum. Let me click on send. Now, I'm going to paste in my address. Let me do that. There it's pulling in the balance that we just have seen. I'm going to send all of it. It's absolutely fine. Now, there is going to be a tiny amount of gas fee using Ethereum. In the BNB chain, BNB is what we need for the gas fee. In the Ethereum chain, Ethereum is what is needed. So although I've selected max, it won't quite send all of it. It will keep a little bit for the gas fee. So that's absolutely fine, but just so you know, a fraction less will be sent, and that fraction that they keep will be used for this transaction. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to click on next. There we go. I'm absolutely fine with all that. There we go. Gas fee is $1.83. It's quite a lot more sending on Ethereum than it is on the BNB chain. Look, it's just gone up to $2.30. If I reject that, let's see if that will go back again. I'm just going to see if I click on send. Click on next. $2.25. Yeah, so the gas fees on Ethereum are a lot more than on the BNB chain, which incidentally is one of the reasons why I even wanted to introduce you to EMP.money back in the day, because it's on the BNB chain. So we don't really use the Ethereum chain at all, really, for this reason. But anyhow, that's fine because we need to send it. So I'm going to click confirm, and look, it says it's pending, so it's being sent. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back here in a few minutes' time. Okay, I've just unpaused the video. That literally took, I'm not exaggerating, 20 seconds. And this now changed from pending to send. So it has now been sent. So if we now go back to Coinbase, and let's just quickly refresh. Let's see if it's arrived in Coinbase. What was the total we're looking at? 20.9705. Let's see if that has actually arrived. No, we're still waiting. That's the old balance, isn't it? So let me pause the video again. It's now on the blockchain. It's now left MetaMask. It's now being sent over here. So it still might take a few minutes to arrive. So let me pause the video again. In fact, while we're waiting for it, let me show you something. If we click on the asset itself, Ethereum itself, and if we click on wallet up here, I believe it will show you. Yes, there we go. Look, it's saying received Ethereum, but it's pending. And there we go. That's the Ethereum that's been sent from my MetaMask. So we're just waiting for it to arrive. So let me go back to my assets. I'll pause the video and we'll come back in a few seconds. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes and this has just popped through and now says received. So if we go back to assets, we should now see Ethereum saying 20.970. Yes, I see the balance has gone up a fraction there. There we go, 20.969, yes. So great, so the Ethereum is there, wonderful. So now our Ethereum is in our Coinbase. Now what do we want to do? Well, we simply want to swap it for fiat. So in Coinbase, we will click on buy and sell. Let me do that. I'm probably not going to actually trade it, by the way, because I want to keep as much Ethereum as I can over time. But this is how you would do it. We would simply click on buy and sell, and we would click on the sell option. And then again, we check that we're selecting the right asset. So I'm going to click check on Ethereum, and then you would add it to your wallet, your wallet. Yes. So basically, my wallet is my where I store my fiat inside Coinbase. And once I've done that, I will click sell Ethereum. I could choose how much I want to do. I'm not going to do this right now. And then the Ethereum would convert into pounds. So I could do all that. Then the pounds will get added to my British wallet. And if I click away from this, if I show you my assets in my British wallet at the moment, I've got $578. So if I obviously sold the Ethereum, that would go up a little bit. And then to actually cash out to the bank, if you essentially click on your, in this case, my fiat, you have a cash out area here. And I've got $578 at the moment. So I could literally type out, however much, sorry, £570. I could put, 550 and then click continue. Again, I'm not going to do this, and it would link to wherever I want to cash out. So I can either add, well, it looks like I can add a card here, which is great. I didn't even know that. Or go straight to my bank account that I started the whole journey with back in the day. Looks like you can add another bank account as well. So that is how you cash out. And again, the more you do it, of course, the more once we earn eShare, and then we trade that eShare for Ethereum in this case, then send it to our online exchange and then swap it for fiat. As you are beginning to see, this is how we can continually earn a regular and recurring passive income. Whew! Only taken us 6 weeks, right? So let's summarize. What did we accomplish in this video? Well, in this video, I showed you the entire cashing out process if you wanted to send Ethereum from MetaMask to Coinbase. Of course, you can use any online exchange. It doesn't have to be Coinbase. Once at Coinbase, though, I then showed you how to swap our Ethereum for fiat currency, UK pounds in my case, and then send that UK pounds to my UK bank. This whole DeFi thing, isn't it just so interesting how most people, this whole process would be as if we're speaking to somebody in Norwegian. Although if you're in Norway, that's probably not the best analogy, but you know what I'm saying. So what do you do now? Sorry, this video is crept on a fraction longer than I hoped. Again, nothing to do unless you want to go and do exactly this, unless you want to send some of your Ethereum from your MetaMask to your online exchange to cash out. Of course, you can do that, and it's never a bad thing to do, even if it's a small amount, just to test that you get the whole process down, because then you can get a lot more comfortable as we move forward. Right, how do you feel? Let me know. I want to know. Tell me in the comments below, then see you in the next video.